All right, everybody, we are going into a qualification match to see who is going to make it into the DreamHack Masters Last Chance Tournament. This is the super important part of the year where players are trying to lock in the best seed they can get going into the World Championships. In the bottom right, one of Europe's finest players, the Danish Wunderkind. It is Maxpax. And he spots a drone heading to take the gold base from none other than Dong Rae-gu, the oldest active Korean pro gamer who is still incredibly good, regularly making quarterfinals appearances in the last couple of years in the global StarCraft League. That is the GSL, one of the most storied and hardest to play in leagues in the entire world. Of course, the epicenter of Korean StarCraft 2. Dong Rae-gu, a champion from 2012, I think 2011 when he won his first championship. And to have come back after military service and a big break and return and get so good again is so impressive. He's going to be going for that hatchery first on the gold though. Maxpax, how does he answer this? Looks like a very standard gateway into gas, into Nexus opening for Maxpax. As always, guys, pause the probes, start the Cybercore, go back up into the main. So 150 minerals, Cybercore, queue up another probe. Take a second gas at 75 minerals, so you're going to see him grab probably this probe and go build a second gas. Yep. Because he doesn't want to pull one off the closer patch, because that's a bit more of an efficient patch, so he pulls it off the less efficient patch. Takes the second gas, queues a second probe, and he drops that second pylon right afterwards. Real clean, standard build order, super crisp, and those details all lining up nicely. Drone going to go over to the gold base as well. DRG starting up a queen there and a queen in the main. Now, he's not transferring workers, so he's like, look, I know you're going to harass, you're going to interrupt my mining, you're going to chrono adepts over there. Like, that is a given. I understand what I'm kind of putting myself down for in this scenario. Now, I always look at this and I'm like, how do you beat Glaive Adepts? Like, if he just makes Glaive Adepts, like, how do you defend up here and down here at the same time? Do you go like Banelings? Do you go Ling Bane and you try to like surround? Because I don't... If they realize that, they can go 7-gate Glaive Adept, and you just can't beat 7-gate Glaive Adept with Ling Bane. Because it relies on heavy queens for that defense to work. Heavy queens can't be up here and also down here. You just have such a mobility weakness. So I really want to see how DRG tries to defend this. Already gets a drone kill, does Maxpax, nicely done. Stalker doing heavy damage to the Overlord over here. Of course, he will get to the pillar, but oh, DRG not clicking it correctly. DRG, you got to go slightly south there. It does fix that Overlord positioning. You see, you want to look at this line beneath the Overlord. That's in your game settings. If you guys don't see these lines, these are what we call flyer helpers. You always want to have this on, because that's where the Overlord actually is on the map. Due to the fact that we do not have a top-down perspective, it is on a bit of an angle. Ground units are where they appear to be. Flying units are actually, you want to aim a spell there to hit it. You still click on the actual unit if you're just saying, right click on attack it. But if you're doing a Psystorm, you aim underneath it where that line goes to. So it's an important little feature that helps you actually see where the unit corresponds to. It's part of why it's so hard to land spells on air units when they're over terrain features where it's hard to see where that lands. This Adept being an absolute nuisance. 2 drones and 2 Zerglings. Massive damage so far. Roachwarren 3/4 of the way done. Robo's almost finished. We've got that DT shrine. So it's going to be a DT opening. Another build which is very hard to deal with because you're so focused on getting your roaches out. He's trying desperately to connect his creep down here. I don't actually like that he has 2 tumors going in the same direction and a 3rd tumor here, which I guess he wants to spread up there because he can't get rid of that Adept. It's going to be a nightmare. And even more Zerglings going down. This is going to be a very crisp DT warp in. This is going to be about 433, I think, when he warps in the first Dark Templar. The Adept finally goes down. 1 Adept causing such a ruckus. The Overlord and the Zerglings, they don't see it. It's right there. Oh, he's so unlucky with his vision. Or maybe it's perfectly placed by Maxpax. Usually a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Oh my god, that's so bad. Spore Crawler's almost finished on the 3rd and in the main, but it's only just started in the natural. And that DT goes in, starts hitting it. Oh, this is so bad. So he's going to bring the Prism in. And, oh, he barely saves that DT in time. The DT up there goes for the Spore. Doesn't quite manage to kill it. But he's doing big damage to the natural, and that's going to force the Spore to move down here. The DTs are going to try and click on it. The Roaches and the Lings can try to body block. It's very hard to actually do, though. And Maxpax playing it safe. He's like, that's fine. You know what, guys? DRG's handled this brilliantly so far. Now, he's even denying the 3rd a little. 2 Adepts being forced to warp in at home. He's going to have to warp in a DT at home as Maxpax to try and make sure he secures that third. So if more Zerglings come in, he's got a DT to work on it. He does not have his Archons morphing yet for any follow-up pressure. And he's going to go into Blink, but a little bit of a supply block because that third was delayed. It meant this pylon was delayed as well. And now Maxpax, he's down in workers. DRG is a master of greedy openings. And this is really what I credited to his initial success when he first kind of got back in the swing of practice and started doing really well in GSL about 2 years ago, was the fact that he was greedier than other players. And people were not used to it. They were like, what? You can't do that. And, you know, he was kind of doing things no one else did, and he was getting away with it, man. That's going to be a cancel. Oh, is it? Wait. The Zerglings are losing their damage. That DT has 7 kills, 8 kills. The Nexus, 40 hit points, 30 hit points, 40 hit points. It's going up, it's going up, it's going up. He's lost the critical mass, unable to get the snipe. Now the DTs go in. I think he lost just 1 DT there. Gets a few drones, and a queen went down as well. Dude, this is actually insane. Okay, so Maxpax there, keeping the third alive. That's such a big turning point. That's such a big turning point. He's going to use a DT to spot if any counterattacks. This is what we call... You could call it a budget observer or a supercharged observer since it actually fights. But the idea is that's just going to hang out down here. And if he gets attacked, he'll spot it with the Dark Templar. The Ultralisk still straining at his bonds. Let me free. He wishes that he could just do a Kerrigan and just use his psi powers to bust out. Unfortunately, as much as he struggles, he can't make the magic happen. It's kind of like Hagrid. He's not that gifted with the magic. You know, no, I want to do it. I want to... No. He was shit with magic, right? I'm not getting that lore wrong, am I? It's been a long time since I've read Harry Potter. I mean, he could give people pigtails, but I don't think he was like that great at it, right? Anyways, long story short, there's a game happening, and it's an important game. It's a best of 5. DRG has an epic supply lead, but it's a low tier supply lead. And there's no Robo Bay, so it's fine. I think he's gonna be able to overwhelm Maxpax push. He's just got such an army supply lead. He's got a good Ravage account. Maxpax is putting himself in a very dangerous position. He wants to hit that exposed gold line, but this is kind of what the Zergs expect, and they overcommit to Roach Ravager because they want to jump on that army. Now, if I were him, I'd actually split half my army up to the left, and I'd look to just sandwich it from both sides at once, or I'd come all the way around because I'd want to envelop that. But wait, DTs walk in. Oh, DT in the main, DT in the natural. Oh, that's why I was like, why is his army running away? Apparently I'm blind. Four drones died. A Stalker over on the left side over there as well, harassing it, but he's going to go forward. He's even pulling drones into this. Gets a few Stalkers. Maxpax is like, leave. You're going to see a Robo Bay in that production tab momentarily. That Queen does survive. The DT in the natural getting even more kills. 17 kills on that DT. Get out of there. Maxpax is going to have to pull on back. He doesn't have many shield batteries. I think he's dead. I actually think there might just be too many units, even though Stalkers are one of the best units to defend in this scenario because you can keep blinking them back to the batteries. There's only 1 battery, and even with overcharge, the Archon is not in range of it. He needs to pull that Archon back. That Archon's going to just disappear. He's going to shuffle it back, bro. Shuffle it back. That's a lot of Ravages. Ravages very fragile, but they're mobile. They've got good range to them. The Observer goes down. The Archon falls. The Stalkers are in a pretty good spread, but with no shield batteries in front of the Nexus, you just don't have the opportunity to use the Concave correctly. And I think the numbers of DRG might just be too much. The Immortal rallying in from the natural. The Cannon going to add some damage output, but most of the Stalker damage output has fallen. Oh, the Ravager line's starting to fall. Remember that DRG's work account sucks right now. This is essentially an all-in. He will get that third Nexus and run away, but he's down 10 workers still, and DRG is a player who loves to just all in and overwhelm with those early advantages. He's a master of defending a greedy opening and then just killing you. He's the Korean Cham, which I know is a funny analogy, but let's be real. Those are both guys who are so good at being greedy, cutting corners, getting ahead, and then killing their opponent with overwhelming numbers. And it looks like he will just have enough. Yeah. After killing the third base and now getting rid of all those Stalkers, the Disruptors definitely needed to be there earlier. I think Maxpax maybe thinking he'd done a little bit more damage than he did, but the power of the gold base dude doing a little bit of damage, all it does is equalize. And his own third being delayed and so on. Maxpax not quite having the numbers to contest this massive swarm of Roach Ravager, and what a commitment it was. This was no, I'm going to make a handful of Roach Ravager to defend. This was DRG saying, please attack into me so I can swarm over your face. All right, let's go. It is Storm Gaming's Maxpax looking for some revenge. We didn't get to see the Glaive Adepts in that last game, but I guess we didn't really need to. I was wondering, like, Glaive Adepts and just go behind the gold mineral line? Seems like a really safe way to do it, and then use a Prism to, like, go harass the main and the natural, but didn't end up going for that. Went for the DT build, and it was hard to deal with for DRG, but he scrambled like a boss. Always impressive when someone's put in a hard spot like that and they fight back. Dongregu. No, I think DRG is actually playing for the Africa Freaks. I'll Google this really quickly one-handedly on my phone while we go through this opening phase. Of course, Dongregu, an absolute hero. I mean, him and It was MMA, right? Slayer's MMA? Or two of the big kind of rivalry of like late 2011. They had like a little period where they played each other in maybe 1 or 2 finals. A few big tournaments, and it was really, they were both such big fan favorites, and there was such hype around it because they were such smiling, kind of handsome young players who also happen to have very unique play styles. And yeah, you know, Box's prodigy in MMA, and DRG is this wily mid-game Zerg that was never giving up the advantages. Oh, DRG's actually on Team Envy, guys. NV, Team NV, Team Envy. Always a good name. Funnily enough, the name of an old Australian team back in the day. Around 2013, I believe it was. Run by Docs. Now, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Stargate going up in the main base as well. Alright, so this looks like a pretty standard build. No surprises in terms of Maxpax so far. It looks like he's just playing a Skytoss opening now. If you guys enjoyed that last playstyle from Maxpax, quite active with the DTs and the Stalkers and the Sentries, gear yourself in. Lock yourself in. Get yourself some snacks. Put your seatbelt on. Do you know why? Because he's going to play the most Skytoss of all Skytoss. And there are a few players as good as him who are as willing to just build nothing but Void Rays and Carriers and then only add the Disruptors and the Storm and stuff much later on or when they're absolutely needed. He is a boy who likes to just make those air units and just macro up with Cannon Battery. And you know, I have seen him die to Queen Walks before. I don't know if DRG is that good with Queen Walks. I don't really see it as his style. And because of that, I wonder if Maxpax gets away with being exceptionally greedy. Because DRG seems like one of these Zergs who's so good in games like that last game. And then there's games where like the opponent makes a technical Skytoss army and like, I just, for the love of God, I cannot imagine DRG controlling a late game spellcaster army correctly. I know he can use spellcasters and he does do it a bit now, but he's just such a roach muta boy, which you could absolutely be for most of StarCraft's history. There's very few people who really got great results though in Legacy of the Void with just that. Su being one of the few ones, of course, before he went to the military. Almost never building spellcasters, but even he, in his last one, did learn how to use Vipers a little bit. His last BlizzCon, of course, didn't make many upgrades for his Mass Corruptor. That was the Su way. DRG's kind of in that school, though, where it's like early, mid-game specialist. Mid-game specialist. Lair tech specialist. You see him go Hive Tech, and you kind of go, ooh, if you're a DRG fan, you worry a little bit. On the other hand, Maxpax hits some brutal +2, +3 Skytoss timing attacks. Maxpax plays it a lot like a Korean. He kind of does in PvT as well, where he'll use like 4-gate blink a lot and that sort of thing. Now this Oracle, yeah, good recall. He's going to take a few more hits, but at least he gets it out of there. Could have been worse. Void Ray and +1 attack on the way. Second Stargate as well, the Forge coming on up there. Zergling. That's a rough way to go. Or Chad Ray's prismatically, well, not even a prismatically aligned beam. Just what's its normal beam? Its normal beam is called prismatic. It's prismatic beam, it's non-aligned prismatic beam. Does take things down. Robo on the way. Is this 2 Stargate into Robo? Now, yeah, he does like his disruptors, doesn't he? He'll get a few disruptors. He'll do like a disruptor Void Ray carrier timing sometimes as well. So it all depends on what he sees. Right now we see 6 gas. So I think DRG is going to play mass air, which is actually very good up against Protoss. And he could just play a round of mutas into a Roachling attack. We've seen a lot of players do that. Dark, of course. I think really popularizing it in many ways. DRG though, I imagine taking a 5th base, taking the gases on the 4th as quickly as possible, and just going Mutas to beat the Void Rays, Corruptors to beat the Phoenix. Now, neither of those units win those fights that super hard for the Zerg, but they don't need to, because it's about the numbers. It's the fact that the Protoss can only build 2 or 3 units at a time. 3rd Stargate coming in, of course, will make that 3 units, along with the Fleet Beacon. But with the Zerg, you can just make more. So he's going to try and surprise him with a big round of Mutas, start bouncing around the bases, killing probes, getting damage done, and then as the Phoenix come out of these Stargates, he'll go for Corruptors. Now, he might just win with the Mutas. If he can depower these Stargates, right, they're kind of sticking out there. They don't have any extra pylons or shield batteries on them. You kill this pylon, goodbye Phoenix production, you just hold down the Muta key and win the game. Interesting point from our librarian of StarCraft history. He's in the chat today, Rigolinium. He says, MMA versus DRG was actually an amazing rivalry because they only played it twice, but everyone built it into a massive rivalry anyway. It was the Wings of Liberty, Maru versus Serral. Everyone always talked about it, and it barely happened. That's funny. He says, that's actually a lie, by the way. I bet too much bacon. I had to put some of my brain in there, too. Okay. I'm not sure how true it is then. We'll see. Void Rays coming on in. They're going to try and pick off some units. Not really finding much. As there's 2 Queens, a Spore. Extra Queen's going to rotate. Oracle comes in, turns on its laser beam, pulls on out. Carrier's coming in as well as the Fuck Veins upgrade. That is right, the Flux Veins. That's what I said, guys. What are you talking about? Get your ears cleaned, Twitch chat, YouTube comments section. It's the Flux Veins upgrade. Makes the Void Rays very fast so they can flux. So they can flux real good. 15 Corruptors are on the way. Now, DRG is going Corruptors first. Now, I always talk about if you're playing pure Skytoss and you go Corruptors, you do like a Corruptor Queen push is what a lot of people do. It is one of the stupidest and worst strategies I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that people keep doing it shows that some Zergs basically rely on winning because they're ahead. Now, don't get me wrong. He could win with this, but he's really not ahead. I mean, it should not work because there's already a Disruptor out. He's not building a second one, which is a big mistake for Maxpax. He's obviously very gas-starved right now. He's building a few gateways, which is kind of funny because he doesn't have a Twilight Council, so he can't make very many good units. He queues another Disruptor, but he's supply blocked right now. Doesn't lose the Disruptor. And this is just going to be a Queen Corruptor roll. And the problem is the Queens do almost nothing versus the ground. So, and if you can just pick off the Queens with the Disruptors, fight around cannons and batteries, which he's starting to set up. If you can get cannons and batteries out here, it'd be good. I don't think he'll be able to, but he can just not take bad fights. I think Maxpax should be able to win this fight. He's building mostly Void Rays, realizing he needs to defend the Corruptors, so the Void Ray count is the most important part. He's trying to build a Twilight Council, which I actually disagree with rather heavily, and I think he should be building cannons in his wall as well. Building more cannons, more batteries, trying to get these numbers up. And I can see Matthew McConaughey right now saying, looking at these cannons and batteries, he says, those are rookie numbers. You gotta get those numbers up. You gotta pump those up, man. You know, you gotta get in the washroom on your lunch break and put some cannons and batteries down. The Zergans and the Corruptors coming on in. The battery overcharge there is gonna try and heal the Nexus up. Watch the balls! Already a few Queens going down. Transfuses, though, actually saving a bunch of those Queens. Nice spams on the Transfuse. Void Rays scaring back the Corruptors for now. Great focus fire there. The Queens are adding a lot of damage, though. Is that going to be enough? When the Prismatic Alignment runs out and there's still 25 Corruptors left, this is a problem for Maxpax potentially. Is it enough Corruptors right now? Watch the units tab. 7 Void Rays versus 21 Corruptors left. Stalker's warping in to try and help out. He's got to pull back behind the cannons. I think Maxpax should have pulled back earlier there. He stayed too far forward. A big mistake for Maxpax. Pull back, bro. Pull back the carriers. The cannons and the Stalkers will keep him alive. But his whole air army does get reset. And you know what? That could be considered a success for the Zerg. Yeah, they traded kind of shit. Every single Queen they built went down. All they've got is a bunch of shitty, unupgraded units. But you know what's really cool, guys? There's no Hive on the way. And they're still looking to dive. Get over the cannons and batteries. Over here, Maxpax. You got to get over the cannons. Maxpax keeps fighting in some rather questionable areas, but I guess he wants to defend the rally. And there's still Mass Corruptor coming in. You know, he could swap to Mass Ground. He's only on 5 gateways right now, but he's going charge. He's got some Stalkers up. If Maxpax, and if he secures like a 5th base as well, imagine if he just goes ground. Yeah, he's already thinking about it. He's like, dude, if you're on Mass Corruptor, And then I just go like, I've got disruptors. If I add some like, a second robo baby and stuff, I might just overwhelm you with the ground army and your corruptors are going to be dead weights. But wisely, Dongregu makes the infestation pit as halfway. We'll see exactly what happens. Corruptors moving on forward. Void Rays here, 7 Void Rays, 2 carriers. A few Stalkers in the ground do help out a little bit. No blink just yet. Might queue that up when charge is done. We do see 6 gateways coming in, so it's going to be 11 gateway ground production. So I don't think it's possible to kill Maxpax. That's the most important thing, because if all the Corruptors win the air fight, you've still got just 19 Roaches up against, 2 Disruptors, bunch of Zealots. You've got some High Templar in there as well, which I guess are probably for feedback. I think he's expecting Vipers. Little does he know the Hive has just started. Roach speed only just started! Ooh, luckily DRG has creep out here, so his roaches aren't too slow, but they're still not the speed that he'd like him to be. Focusing down some Zealots. I think he's happy to take those trades as DRG. This game could absolutely still go either way. As much as I'm talking about it kind of like Maxpax is ahead, that's just because, like I said, I don't have faith in DRG's late game abilities, whereas Maxpax, he's not the best at just dragging out the late game, but he's more of a parting style timing attack late game player. And he still does that brilliantly. And he can defend and play reflexively up to there as well. DRG, I think, is going to be a little more one-dimensional. We'll see what happens, of course. I don't want to call this before it's over by any means, but that's a big push coming forward. The Queens are gone. Now, the Prismatic Alignment did already get popped. The Disruptor Novas are used up. And the Void Ray is going to try and fight against this. That's a lot of Corruptors, though. And Prismatic Alignment's gone. This is an overcommitment from Maxpax. His air army is going to get wiped. His ground army, though, is going to cause problems. And actually, man, he's killing a lot of these Corruptors despite losing this whole ground army. He's going to try and recall the carriers, gets one of those out of there. The Void Rays will run away. There's still a ground army, though, and 25 Roaches are about to pop out. He's going to lose his 4th base. There's more Zealots up there on the Roach Rally. They will eventually get cleaned up. Zealots do really well versus Roaches when the Roaches aren't being microed. Disruptor goes down before it can fire. Maxpax is going to have to fall back. I said this might be an overcommitment. It almost certainly is at this point. He's still coming in with Zealots trying to break. No, surely DRG's just got to group his Roaches. There's no reason for DRG to be fighting out here like this. He really should be grouping up his units. I mean, yeah, he gets an Immortal. That's nice, but group your Roaches, bro. Just pull back, group your Roaches up. Let Maxpax overextend into you. The Corruptor's going across. That's a big move. He will take a big piss onto the Nexus of Maxpax. Stalkers are going to warp in to try and make this costly. He will lose a few Corruptors for it. Already 2 go down. Make it 3, make it 4, make it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's going to lose about 10 Corruptors for that Nexus because he's so busy microing. And look at that. He's only got 5 Corruptors left at the end of that. So that means it's worth Maxpax going back into flying units. He can rebuild that Nexus. He's already got 8 Void Rays and a carrier out. And this forces DRG to keep building Corruptors. Maxpax still up 10 supply. Units lost tab, 6,000 resources in the lead for Maxpax, which actually means these last fights, I think, not quite as bad as the first big Queen Corruptor push, but definitely a push that I'm very critical of, that Queen Corruptor push, and specifically because there is no ground threat. Queens are not a scary ground unit. It's only good at killing the flying units, and we saw what happens if the Protoss has some Disruptors in the mix. If they don't have the Disruptors, they're in trouble. Guys, a Muta swap coming out. It's going to be 2-1 Mutas. He's got +3 air attack on the way as well. Oh, that's kind of cool, but there's Archons in the mix. Oh, I talked about DRG being at his element in the mid-game. Big Muta swaps, big Roach swaps. These are his absolute specialty. But look at that. He sees the Mutas now. Does Maxpax. If I was Maxpax, I might back away, but he is so confident with the Archons backing up the Void Rays that he doesn't even care. He's like, nah, I can take this, bro. Let's go. The Archons are so scary. The Roaches want to get rid of the Archons, but they're not going to be able to do it. He's going to have to just fight into this, but the Archon splash is frightening. Broodling's coming in to help out. 1 Archon falls, the 2nd Archon falls, but no, it does not. The Mutas disappear before even the 2nd Archon goes down. Maxpax ties up the series. Alright guys, going into the next map, DRG down here in the bottom right of Curious Minds, going for a pretty standard opening. His hatchery is blocked, so he takes his 3rd. Of course, he's representing Envy Gaming. And Psystorm's Maxpax with a pretty normal opening up here. He does have 3 on gas, and you'll notice he's missing a buddy on this mineral patch here. And that is because he's going to be going for a Stargate again, I believe. This is a shorter map. Definitely, if there's a map where DRG is going to try and cheese him out, or Queen Walk, do a sharp push, then that will be awesome. And we'll see exactly how that goes. Of course, for those who are just watching this on YouTube, if this ends up being a banger of a series, a nice exciting one, gets over there, we just opened a tin of a present we got from Twitch for my birthday. They sent me a little thing. I was like, what is this? And I opened this tin and it was a giant biscuit with my face on it. And it was the funniest shit I've ever seen. So I can't wait to eat that. And I'm kind of still a bit giggly as we literally opened that between game 2 and this game 3 while we were waiting for the players to get in the lobby and start it up. And I'm just kind of giggling about that as Twitch chat catches up as well. That's a total biscuit. Indeed, it is. Stargate is on the way, as we expected. Warpgate, of course, delayed a little. A Zergling for DRG. He waits for the Adept to leave, and he runs in that Zergling for the Scout. And the Adept here, not going to find much. Just gets a Zergling and then runs away. Takes a bit of damage. Good pullback on the Zerglings to stop that. And check this out for DRG. Full Scout, man. Full Scout.
Drones are under attack.
Ooh, okay. Adept comes in, gets 2 Zerglings, make it 3. Oh, it survives on 2 hit points. Very well done. And it's only these 2 Zerglings left, so far 4 Zerglings have died. That Adept, she's going to get home. She shades out. Just playing it real safe, saying, hey, let her regen her shields. She can be on door duty for the rest of this game. That is awesome. What are we doing? Oracle first, guys. Oh, he's going for the quick Oracle before Void Ray. Wants to dive in. See if he can catch some drones on this rally point potentially. Get to the queens, get to the safety. There's no Spore in the main, he's just relying on queens. Spore does go down there now. Because he knows his mineral lines are saturated, he has to rally both hatcheries to this base. And that means his queens are gonna have to move down there to defend. So he's gonna use the Spores to cover. Oracle does try to come in on the back line. Great positioning. Zergs are getting so good at covering these early Oracles. I watch these games and I wonder how I managed to lose 8 workers in the early game every single time. It's actually, I think I'm impressive at this point. I don't think pros can manage to lose as many drones as I do in the early game. And I think it's just because my skill is so great. Wow, surprise stasis trap actually gets a big one. 6 drones frozen there for the next 17 seconds. 21 seconds, never mind. +1 already starting, as well as a second Stargate and a Forge. Maxpax, of course, does like to go the Robo in the near future as well. I don't know if I think he normally starts that after his first 2 Void Rays, but I'm not really sure. It's sometime around maybe his second Void Ray starting, and that's to get Disruptors, but he might even delay it and just try to go full Void Rays and Cannons without the help of the Disruptors. I think that's a mistake usually, but we'll see how it goes. Roach Horn and the double gas going down all at the same time just after 4 minutes 40. So not very fast. You know you're definitely not dealing with like a 5:45 queens and roaches arriving at your base, but there could still be a queen walk that comes a little later, right? Or 50 drones. There's already a few extra overlords building, a lot of supply free. Roachhorn's about to finish, guys. He's doing a queen walk. He is going to go for a queen walk. He's got 6 queens out, 3 more on the way. Maxpax is already building a cannon. He's got that Robo on the way. As we said, Robo comes down about the same time as the second Void Ray starts up. Or I guess it's the third Void Ray technically. It's the extra 2 after you build 2 Stargates. 2 Adepts warping in there. Zerglings do take that Adept out, but most of them do die. Now, Maxpax, he needs another pylon out here because he's only got so much space on that. He built like a cannon there, cannon there. Yeah, this is a good idea. Oh, look at this. He realizes, guys, he comes in, he sees no gases on that third. He sees Ravagers morphing, Queens coming out. Great scout on the Oracle. It's just Void Rays, Cannons, Batteries. Does he try to get a Robo Bay? I don't think so. I think he might try to build an Immortal, but honestly, right now, I think he's just saying, look, Cannons and Batteries are the fastest thing to build. Let's just do that. And not a bad way to play it. He's going to heal up, try and focus down the Ravagers is what he's going to do, guys. The Ravagers, as they hit critical mass, they start to one-shot Cannons and Batteries, and that's a problem. So notice he focuses a Roach. Great transfuse from DRG, though. Already Bile's going down on that battery. He's got another battery in the back. He wants to save Overcharge for that one, and he wants to save it until his stuff's getting very heavily damaged. Notice this front battery is going to go down as well. That one's very low. The Void Ray's coming on forward. A few Stalkers and Adepts in there. He's building an Immortal. It is rallying out right now. Zest, one of the best players at defending these attacks. His big specialty was always going for that. Cannons in the back, doing a lot of damage. I don't think this is going to work for DRG, guys. I talked about it. I don't know if he's a Queen Walk specialist. He's hitting a pretty crisp timing attack, Oh my god, the stasis trap stopping a lot of the Zerglings though, and also kind of blocking his units. And now, so patient on the battery overcharge. The cannons all spread, so Biles are never able to hit multiple cannons. And this is just deadly. DRG doing nothing against this cannon battery wall. Perfect positioning, perfect spreads from Maxpax on the defense. And this is a clinical shutdown. You can tell Maxpax has played against every single one of Lambo's best Queen Walks 1,000 times. And DRG is just not going to cut the mustard. The hype train is building around this young man, the Crown Prince of Denmark himself. It is, of course, Maximus Paximus. Reppin' Psystorm Gaming in the bottom left. We've got Dong Regu. And this is going to be a good time. Let's take a little look-see in here. Probes coming on forward as well. We've got a pylon finishing up. Maxpax, let's go gateway, gateway, gateway. Thank you, Dot, for clipping that. Looks like Dot clipped it and has shared it. What a legend. It's cannibal time. Sorry, guys. Once again, talking about our face biscuit here in between the games. Take a look at my Twitter feed. If you guys are watching this on YouTube later on, I'm sure around the 20th of December. If you check it out, I'm sure I'll chuck up a picture of me with it later. Apparently, I'm not allowed to eat. I was really counting on opening some snacks that I could eat to like just keep my energy up while casting today, but apparently I'm not allowed to. So it is what it is. Now, in that last game, there was an argument behind going around and going to the natural, but queens are so slow to reposition their angle, and that natural ramp on Curious Minds so hard to break. By the time your queens reposition, cannons and batteries will finish on top of the ramp, as will reinforcing units, and even sentries can be warped in to hold that angle at the last second. So really, really tough to actually to figure that one out. But it is what it is, you know. It is just the matter of he went for broke, wasn't quite able to do it. I do think I've seen like Scarlet, for instance, be really methodical when she's practiced her Queen Walks a lot. Even with a good spread, she just doesn't lose any Ravages, and she just like sits out of the cannon range, and she just biles a cannon. Pulls back, and she just one-shots every building. And batteries don't matter that much if you can do that. And the whole point is the queens just need to be close enough to transfuse the Ravages and protect them from the Void Rays. And I don't know if it was possible there because Maxpax built so much static defense and he was reinforcing his Void Rays, and his ground units were kind of in front of the cannons helping out as well. But I gotta say, textbook defense from Maxpax, and didn't even need to go up to the disruptors for that one. Look at that. Pulls the probes down early, does tell them to return. Now, I've told Maxpax that he shouldn't be long distance mining from the natural, and instead he should just stack those probes up on these mineral patches while they wait, but he doesn't listen to me. He says, Pig, you're old. I don't want to have to pull those probes off the far patches. It's a pain. I'd rather just long distance mine 1 or 2 trips and then hold them down there just before the Nexus is about to finish and tell them to manually drop that load off. Void Ray first this time around to deny scouting. No early Oracle going to be coming in. Ooh, here we go. Adept's going to come on. Already forces a Spore. And that's pretty good because you don't really want that Spore to finish. This is too early. The earliest you want to start a Spore is about 3:30. Now, if he sees that it's Void Ray, which he will see, I'd actually like to see him not build any Spores at all until closer to 4 minutes. Because if you can really, as the Zerg, go, okay, he's gone Void Ray. I don't need Spores for a little while. Yes, he could have an Oracle out, maybe 350. He could be rolling into a mineral line. Earliest 405, probably more like 420 is when you're expecting that Oracle to come in. So if you build it right on 4 minutes, you can get away with it. Now, DRG is playing a little safer. He says, yeah, I'll get it at 350 in the main. I'll delay the one in the third. Sorry, I'll delay the one in the main in the natural. Gets it just before 4 minutes here. And with that Oracle coming in, like I said, it could arrive technically 405, but more likely about 420. And if you build a Spore at 4 minutes, they only take 21 seconds to build. It's going to finish right as that Oracle arrives. Now, he doesn't have one here. That's fine. He's saying, that's fine. I'll move my queens here. They're not quite in the mineral line, though. And those drones, good response. Very nice micro. Avoids the damage. That being said, quick third base is here. +1 air weapons, extra Stargate, and a Forge. And if there's one man who looks absolutely confident in this build order, it is Maxpax. Big thank you, Skizzy, for the 10-month resub. Much love, everybody. We've got a lot of games today because we do have a losers bracket, unlike yesterday's qualifier for this, that was the open qualifier. This is the closed qualifier. We had 8 players, DRG and Maxpax, both of them being players that qualified through to join the players that were invited. Obviously, all the top American players like Estrella, Scarlet, and Neeb were invited in. Neeb did turn down his seed, though. We're not really sure why. Apparently, he's not going to be playing Katowice either. So I don't know what's going on with Neeb. I do hope his health, his focus, and everything's going well for him. One of our most famous players. He was the pre-Serral. He changed the history of the foreign scene and showed that, hey, non-Korean players can do it too and become absolute gods. And he broke the foreign losing streak of tournaments on Korean soil that dated back to Brood War, and I believe it was Gur in 2000 or 2001. This was the last time a non-Korean won a tournament over there. The Kesper Cup was where Neeb won that tournament. Changed history a little bit. He won every single tournament the next year in 2017 in the WCS circuit, except for Valencia, which Aleza won. And the following year was, of course, the year where Serral won everything. So 2017 finished off in Yenchiping. Or not finished off, but that was where Serral got a second place to Neeb 2017. His first finals. Serral had a few good performances that year as he was first kind of coming up. And the next year he won every single tournament with Serral. Now guys, we've got another Queen Walk. This is the Baneling version. Battery Overcharge gets instantly blasted. That Queen goes down. But a lot more of the Banelings do get blown up there before they can get the super big connects. And remember, these Queens need to win this fight. They need to win this fight. Oh, that Transfuse ticked over just a little late. Transfuse! DRG's missing Transfuses right now. He loses the air fight rather one-sidedly. His Queens are continuing to rally, but he's lost this air fight really badly now. And the Lings, will they be able to capitalize? Not with that many Void Rays overhead. Those probes can just stack up in a corner if they need to. Can warp in more Adepts. He's already got a Zealot up here. I know it's hard to see. There's a Zealot up there holding the choke point, and that is a fantastic hold for Maxpax, who he's just so strong against all these attacks. And I do like this variation from DRG. I've seen it just kill people, but damn, Maxpax held it well. Behind this, Void Rays, probes, 65 workers. DRG says, well, I've got a 4th base. I showed you that 4th to try to make you think this was a super big macro game. But it felt like Maxpax just got the read way too early, figured out what was up. Now, he does have enough Queens to defend, and has he been too greedy, Maxpax? No, he can Battery Overcharge. Battery Overcharge, Maxpax. Oh, missing the Battery Overcharge, a big mistake there. Could have A-moved the probes and Battery Overcharged. As a result, he loses 0 probes. It doesn't matter. Catches 2 Queens on the way home. Chunks of them go flying. The Void Rays doing very well, and these 2 cannons plus the Void Rays, the Oracle, all just doing a fantastic job. We have seen 81 Zerglings die. Only 2 probes have gone down. This is an absolute nightmare. This is a big problem. We'll see what the hell happens. Void Rays moving around the left side of this map. 6 Void Rays coming in. And we've actually just heard word. Apparently, the Neeb did initially turn down his Katowice seed and then changed his mind. Apparently, he will still be playing Katowice. It was a rumor. It was checked with Neeb. It was nothing but a rumor. Oh my god, not again. Are we playing Internet Whispers again? Apparently, I've been retelling stories. People said, Wardy said it, Roddy said it. Everyone's been saying, and I was like, well, if Wardy and Roddy said it, it must check out. But once again, guys, I remember that all of my StarCraft caster buddies are just, they're incorrigible gossips. Is that what the word? Incorrigible? I've never said that word before. I was like, ooh, you guys play Thesaurus bingo? I like to look up words and then try to use them. Not really, I'm joking. I don't actually look them up, but damn, that's a Nexus kill, guys. DRG fighting back. If he can defend the main base, kill these Void Rays, he gets the 4th snipe. He's on 80 drones, he defends the 4th. They're going to rotate to the low ground potentially. He's got to watch out for that. The Zerglings get a few probes. Finally, DRG finding a way in and getting some damage done. I'm going to look that word up in between the games. Incorrigible? Incorrigible? I don't even know how to say English word. It's like one of those words I've read. I've probably heard people say it, but I've never mouthed it out of my own mouth. We'll say it soon. Recall on the Chads to pull him back. 10 Chads, 69 probes. Now, unfortunately for DRG, he's knocked Maxpax back to the meme number, which is an issue, and there's carriers on the way. Now, he's going Hydra Bane, which is a very mid-game comp. Now, if he can fight when there's only like 6 carriers, that'll be good. And if he can kill the 4th, he basically should be able to win the game. But there's Tempests that are going to pick off the Hydras from far away. So anytime DRG sets up a big arc of units, the Tempest is just going to hit a unit, pull back, hit a unit, pull back. And he's going to have disruptors to kill the mass banelings as well. Oh, this is a really nice set of units. Maxpax always, I feel like he's never just sitting there following a set game plan. He has a build, but he has so many little reactions and adjustments to his compositions in between. We'll see exactly what happens, man. And the Hydra's coming on forward. The Void Ray's over here. The Zealot's trying to defend. The Void Ray carrier going to come forward. And that's too early. I think, yeah, DRG was hoping to catch him unprepared. Oh, he's got Queens coming. Transfuses, very good, but the Hydra's nowhere near as tanky as those Queens, of course. Queens do start with a base armor and almost double the hit points of a Queen, as they have that much tankier setup. So the Queens are going to come forward, but the Disruptor's good against them, and the Cannons are here. No batteries, though. No batteries definitely could be a problem. A lot of Hydras, Lings, Queens coming in. Banelings coming in from behind. Run, Hydras! 5 Hydras for a Disruptor shot. He tried to spread backwards, but without muscular augments. DRG, not realizing his movement speed wasn't done. He wasn't able to spread the way he wanted. And oh, another good shot. Only 2 Hydras that time, so pretty good spready there from DRG. And the Queens are actually doing well. He's killed the Interceptors. Oh my god, Maxpax is going to lose the base. Maxpax has lost this expansion. There's no way he can fight here. Maxpax needs to pull back, and those Tempests, were they the right call? I do not know. Oh, that's a big Disruptor shot. He's got another one ready. Does he shoot it? I think he should. Yeah, I think he should run forward and maybe look for another shot on the Queen. But he loses his 4th base. He's got a 5th going up in the top left. He's building more cannons and batteries. He really just needs more Disruptors against this army because... and he also needs time. He's only got 19 Interceptors across 5 carriers. 5 times 8, he should be at 40 Interceptors. So he's only at half strength, guys. Aircraft carriers look scary, but when they don't have any planes on them, they don't do shit. It's a big floating friggin' slab. It's a raft. It doesn't actually fight without those boats. And that is potentially a big issue. You know what else is an issue? The triple Chad Ray counterattack comes in the back door and snipes DRG's base down. A lovely maneuver there, as well as chipping away at these units. And guess what? Queen's very good at fighting in a static situation, but they are very bad at retreating. And look at that. Caught on the way home. The Hydra's like, no, we can't let the Queens just go down. But go down they will. That Disruptor walks right up to them and says, hey, dickheads, how about a nice big explosion on your face? All those Queens just go floating up to the heavens. Oh my god. And Maxpax coming across with the wrath of the Danish. For those who don't know, the Danish known for their fearsome... help me out here. What are Danish people known for? I guess they had some Vikings back in the day, right? Gets a hatch kill, no cancel there. DRG's in trouble. I literally am like, well, I mean, there's like a type of food that's called a Danish. I guess that's inspired by them. I know nothing about Denmark. They have crowns. There's an ice cream chain in Australia, and I imagine around the world that's not in Denmark, called Copenhagen. That's Denmark, right? I don't even know. Carriers just rolling it. It's too many units at this point. We said if you can fight before there's 6 carriers, maybe 6 carriers at max, you might be able to do it. But the Disruptors complicated things. The Tempests as well, just constantly picking away units from afar. And Maxpax showing he's an expert at holding these Queen Walks. Even the surprise Lingbane variety. Bloody well played. Maxpax qualifies through to the Last Chance DreamHack Tournament of 2021.